I have always been very emotional my entire life. Always. Still am. I've done my best to get better on that. It still has its moments, though. The place that I work at, I've been there for over 5 years. So you can imagine the amount of people I get, especially regulars. Especially regulars. Of course, you get people of all ages, younger than me, I watch grow up, older people just a little older than me, not much. In and out, in and out. But the last 2 years, it's been like dominoes. Not as many younger people like my age. And not all older people. I have actually lost count now over the last 2 years. My grandma being one of them, because she was a customer at our store. And I know a lot of my coworkers wish they could have been there at her celebration of life, but they were scheduled and they couldn't really say no, especially one of them who was really high up. He couldn't opt out of it. Like, he physically came to my house to give me flowers and a card. Physically came to my house because he knew where I was. He's dropped me off at home before quite a few times. But even before she passed, I have lost people. I, again, literally lost count. And on top of that, family as well. Last year alone. This year, there's not as many family-wise, but customers. And a good 80% of them were cancer. My grandma was one of those people. Get home from work, 8-hour shift. Did almost 40 hours this week. Very bad week. Hurt my wrist. Still have problems with it, and I did report it. Got screamed at by a customer, and he threatened my job because I wasn't being all cheerful and happy, because he was going off on me before he threatened my job, which made me clam down and completely ignore him. Otherwise, I was going to blow a gasket. The most rage I have ever felt in my whole life. I have never felt such rage, shaking rage. And it took me until midnight that night, and that happened at 10 a.m. I didn't calm down until midnight that same night. That's how shot my nerves were. I stopped shaking 2 hours after it happened, completely stopped. On top of that happening, I ended up getting yelled at 2 more times. The third person, she apologized. She didn't mean it, but she apologized. Mind you, that was just yesterday. And I hurt my wrist on Tuesday. I come home from work today and open Facebook. I love my regulars. The nice ones, at least. Especially if I don't see them for a while. I still think about them. Whether it's their dog or the owner or both. Especially when it's when I never even got to meet the dog, you know, I think of the owner. Even if I don't know their name all the time. But it gets more personal when I do. The first one I saw today hurt a lot. Second one, I didn't know her as well. Still hurt. I have known him since I started at that job. And he was one of the very few customers that could put a smile on my face. No matter what was going on or how unwell I felt at work. And he's not the only one that was like that for a regular customer. And he cared, you know, I closed for 3 years out of the 5 I've been there. And we would talk, if we could, we would talk for hours about anything. Anything. And he wasn't the only one that did that. The other one, Mr. Force used to come in and bring us food. All of us at work, not just me. It was anyone on the clock. He would purposely go buy food and go give it to us without us even asking. Sometimes he'd ask, hey, what would you like? And, you know, we'd be like, you don't have to do that. And I, one time, told him, my stomach was upset and, you know, I felt kind of sick, but, you know, it was normal for me. So this man goes up the road to the ice cream place and bought me a chocolate milkshake, which, by the way, did work. It helped my stomach. And a couple months later, he did it again because I had an upset stomach, and I told him, and he went to McDonald's that time because the ice cream place wasn't open. I still take that advice. I get an upset stomach. If I can go get a chocolate milkshake, I'll do it. And for a while, he stopped coming in, and I always thought about him. And I got really worried after a while because I'm sitting here, I'm like, I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's okay. And then realized one of my other regulars, same last name, and I just conveniently asked him, like, are you related to, you know, Mr. Force? And he's like, yeah, he was my uncle. And he broke the news to me that he had passed 2 weeks before that. After 3 days before that, I got diagnosed with cancer. 3 days. And he had a pit bull. He, at one point, found a girlfriend, and he moved down there just to go see how it would go, and she didn't do well, because he came back and told me. I cried for that one. When I got the chance, of course. And then Mr. Wheeler today. Not related to my boyfriend or his family, or at least that I know of. But seeing his name and his picture, and that he passed peacefully at his home a couple days ago, that hurt a lot. I have literally lost count. I don't know if he passed from cancer because it was just recent. I just found this out. The other customer, I didn't know her very well, but I recognized her face. There was a customer last year too he's been going there before I started there, so I know him from there. He had gotten a puppy months before he had gotten diagnosed. I think it was the second time or maybe the third time with cancer. He was going through treatment like normal, like anyone that has a possibility of surviving with it. And we would talk about it because my grandma had, at that point, survived. No problem. I was giving him advice. He's like, I've been through this. I know what I'm doing. I said, okay. Making sure he's okay. Not even a week or two after my grandma passed, he did. From the same thing. Liver failure. Because of the chemo treatments he was having. It popped up on my Facebook feed. And I just start crying because I'm sitting here like, last year, between family and customers, it was 12 people, and 80% of them were cancer. I hate this. I love my regulars, but I hate this part. Finding out after the fact that I hadn't seen Mr. Wheeler in a long time. And I know he would prefer smiles than crying, but he also knew me well enough. It wouldn't stop me. Most of my regulars know that. And there's a couple of customers I have currently who are either at that age or I know their history that worry me so much. If they go, I don't know if it's gonna hurt. Because some of them are almost like family. Not gonna lie, I have cried about some of my dog's customers passing, because who wouldn't? Because, again, they're like family too. You watch these dogs grow up, you've known them for years, and it still hurts. Or they pass not soon after they got them as a puppy. That still hurts. Or a cat, whatever animal it may be, because I've had a lot of animals in my store. And sometimes I get regulars who get hurt or get really sick, and then they come in or their family comes in and tells me what happened. I'm like, oh my God, please. I don't want you to be an afterthought, having to use past tense if I talk about them. Because I still have that problem sometimes when I talk about my mom or my grandma. I don't even think about it. I just use present tense, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm sorry. To a new person, I meant was, or past tense. And I don't want to do that with a customer. It really hurts having regular favorite customers. And again, it doesn't even matter the age. And cancer doesn't have an age limit either. Doesn't matter how old you have to be to have it, too. I know so many customers that have survived it, and I still see them. You know, I finally got to see them after the fact because they had to isolate because of chemo. 2 of them I started seeing a little bit more because of they had cancer and they couldn't come out. And then found out one of my regular customers today, why I hadn't seen her all summer, because she had that tick disease that was down by the Hudson. She got it. If the doctor hadn't diagnosed her 2 or 3 days before that they did, she wouldn't have lived. And as soon as he figured it out, the doctor, like, we don't know exactly what it is, but we have an idea. Here's antibiotics. And it took her almost 2 months to recover from it. It's just one of those things. Sorry for my crying fest. My Jeep won't work anymore, so I'm crying in a dead Jeep that barely works as it is now, so. And now I gotta clean myself up before I go back in the house because my grandpa's home and I don't want him seeing me because I've been bawling. Obviously, so.